We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? I'm Chris Hand. A little wet out there. Take it easy. You can be late. Like, today's one of those days where you can be late. Everybody's going to understand. Even if you didn't get in the car on time, you can still use it to your advantage.
Yeah, big storm. I'm late.
I'm late. I'm sorry.
It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get here, though.
There's bananas out there.
I hate it.
It took me just as long. Even longer, actually. I lied.
I'm supposed to be getting away from that when I moved to Mount Juliet off Murfreesboro, but whatever.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna help.
No.
You think you're doing something that's gonna help your commute, and it doesn't.
Never.
No. Don't buy a house based on the commute.
No, absolutely not. It'll follow you wherever you go.
Especially in this state. We got a lot to talk about today. Joanna Daniels is going to be joining the show at 9:35. Maybe you remember her as the former Sumner County Library board member who was voted off and then replaced by Riley Gaines. There's been a lot going on in Sumner County. Joanna's going to join us to talk about that at 9:35. Looking forward to that. We're going to talk about Mamdani. Is he finished? There's new stories coming out. New York Post has an article. Foreigners donating to his campaign. Will that be the end of Zohran Mamdani? Probably not. Probably not. If the other outlandish things didn't get him this one either. He's like Teflon Zohran. Just came up with that. We'll talk about immigration. We're going to talk about how Americans just want illegals out. And it's a majority of Americans. In fact, a majority of Americans want illegals out, even if they didn't commit a crime. I'm using air quotes. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you see them. They're very exaggerated. If you're listening on the radio, just know that the air quotes were there. By crossing into the country illegally, you have, in fact, committed a crime. It's how it works. It's how laws work. When you break them, you're committing crime. We'll talk about all that. Talk about a probe of licensing mills. We've heard of puppy mills. You've heard of puppy mills? They have licensing mills now for our newcomer friends to get their CDL licenses. We'll talk about all that and more. I want to start today with Hurricane Melissa. Absolute chaos. Jamaica is just getting rocked, absolutely rocked. The video footage that's coming out of there, I'm just asking you guys to join me in praying for everybody inside Jamaica. The craziest video I saw, though, and we're gonna throw it up on the screen for you so that you can watch on Super Talk TV, is one of the hurricane hunters, U.S. Air Force Reserve's 53rd Weather Reconnaissance Squadron. They flew into the eye of the hurricane, and the video is up on Super Talk TV. It looks like it would be like a snowy mountain of some sort. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks terrifying, yet at the same time, eerily calm inside that eye of the hurricane. They went in. There's this 2-minute video that's been floating around. There's been a lot of videos floating around from the hurricane hunters inside the eye of this hurricane. But do you see that? Are you watching that? It is like thousands of feet tall wall of just clouds. You're inside like it looks like a Nissan Stadium level of size, and you're sitting in the middle, and you just see all the way up clouds all around you. It's super spooky, but crazy cool at the exact same time. I've had family members that have been inside hurricanes, like big hurricanes in the Virgin Islands, and that they say, the eye goes over and everything just stops for a second. It's really weird. But seeing it from this elevation, this high up, insane. And to have the cojones to be the guy that says, I'll fly into that. No, not me. Not me. Not much, I would say, scares me. I would say I'm scared. I'm scared and I don't want to do it. And then that's the view from up top. The view from down low has been just as devastating. A lot of video coming out of just cars being swept away completely by the flooding that's happening in Jamaica. And, I mean, just looks like entire streets being erased. And it's a hard watch. It's a hard watch, especially when you got to think about there's a lot of people out there that don't have much as it is. And to think about how you're going to rebuild from this level of catastrophic flooding, this level of damage. The winds were at about 185 miles per hour, which is insane. Insane. I mean, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, here's some footage of the flooding inside Jamaica. And it's just car after car after car being swept away in what looks like 3-4 feet of just powerful rushing water. And it's taken everybody. Insane. Pray for Jamaica. People are stepping up to go full Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. Elon Musk has just made Starlink free to Jamaica and the Bahamas as this Category 5 hurricane has made landfall. It's going to be free through the end of November. Shout out to Elon Musk. We understand how helpful that was in western North Carolina, eastern Tennessee, after the hurricane that they had there. When you have no mode of communication and you have to, you want to check in with family, let them know you're okay, just connect with people, let them know what you need, let them know what's going on. Elon Musk stepping up and filling in that gap with Starlink service free through November. That's just unbelievable. I mean, it's not something he has to do by any stretch of the imagination, but it's something that he always seems like he's willing to do in times of disaster, step up. So shout out to Elon Musk. In the meantime, the government is still shut down. J.D. Vance has gone on record, though, and said that troops are officially going to be paid this week in face of the Schumer shutdown. President Trump has identified funding that can be used. Checks are going to be coming Friday for the troops, which is fantastic. They deserve it. At the same time, we're staring down the barrel of a no-snap November. And I'll be honest with you, it's getting a little hard for me to feel bad for some of the people on SNAP benefits. Now, are there people on SNAP benefits that absolutely need it? Yes, 100%. 100%. And I don't want them to go hungry. I don't want them to have to choose between medicine or food and all those kinds of things. Like, there are people that need it. There are. But then there's another contingent of people who are making their way to social media to complain and moan and whine. And these look to me, and granted, I'm on the outside looking in. It's hard to gain any kind of real assessment of what somebody's going through in life based on a 30-second social media video. Just, take that with a grain of salt. But from the outside looking in, I see these people posting these videos on social media, and I find myself not feeling bad that you're losing SNAP benefits at all. You look able-bodied. You look like you're able to work. And to hear the kind of rhetoric coming from these individuals, infuriating. Listen to this woman who has been going viral because she's going to lose her SNAP benefits.
My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
Is that a troll? Part of me says there's no way that that's a troll. There's another part of me that says that has to be fake. The taxpayers have to take care of my kids. The taxpayers. Do you understand why it's getting a little bit hard for me to feel bad for these kinds of people?
My kids have not eaten in 5 days. It is the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of my kids.
I'm looking in the car. She recorded it. It's a selfie video in the car. I don't know what kind of car it is, but I do see leather seats. I do see what looks to be a clean car, possibly 3 rows. It's the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of your kids. What happened to personal responsibility in this country? And at the same time, to say, my kids haven't eaten in 5 days, that's an issue of neglect, ma'am, because there are countless food banks in every community that will make sure that your kids aren't going hungry. This is a time for the community to step up. In Middle Tennessee, we've seen a lot of food banks stepping up, and I know Dan had an interview with a guy in Murfreesboro, and we're seeing it all over the place. That's what we need. We need the community to step up in this time. Or, ma'am, you could point your outrage to the Democrats and have them step up. But she says it's the taxpayer's responsibility to take care of her kids.
Trump done cut them food stamps off.
If you're poor, don't have kids, okay? If you're struggling, don't have kids. Don't bring more in. If you already have them, that's another situation. If you don't have them, don't bring any in. And if you have 2, don't go having another one. If you have 1, don't go having 2 more.
So they say 2 million is getting cut off this month for the scamps. I'm about to go find out if I'm in that number, in that ratio. It's been day 5 and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of.
I don't know. I don't view that as my responsibility or my job.
Ooh.
I don't want kids to go hungry. I don't. Like I think that's an important point. But I don't view that as my job. It's the taxpayer's job.
That'll rankle some feathers.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like I do feel bad, and for the kids, it's through no fault of their own. But when you see entitled mothers like this, like I start losing all sympathy that I have in me.
My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of.
Am I in the wrong here? Am I in the wrong? Not feeling bad for this woman? I feel bad for the kids. She looks able-bodied. Disability checks are on hold. My kids aren't eating. It's the taxpayer's job. I'm just having a hard time. And then I go, I'm on social media last night, and I start seeing all the crazy stuff that you can get on Snap. You know, you can actually get fudge rounds on EBT and Snap. You know, Oliver Anthony, rich men north of Richmond. If you're 5'3", you weigh 300 pounds, my tax dollars ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. You know that they do. They do. And then I saw it's like even other crazier stuff, man. And I don't mean to be going down these rabbit holes, but I do. And I find a rabbit hole and I'm diving in. Do you know that you can get Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey Protein Powder on food stamps? Should we be bulking up on food stamps? I don't know. I went down a rabbit hole last night. I'm going through Amazon. I can get a 32 pack of sugar-free Red Bull on food stamps. Really? I mean, the program needs a complete overhaul. Can we all agree with that? Like a massive overhaul. And I know Trump came in and he said that, you know, a lot of these states are stepping up and lining up with the Trump administration, and they're cutting off the junk food, they're cutting off the sweets and the treats, and I'm for that. But we need a total overhaul because the entitlements of some of these people are insane. Bobby in Nashville, your thoughts?
Hey, Chris, you know them Democrats, they like keeping them people down. They've been doing it for years. And here's the deal. With having kids, I mean, you know, don't have children that you can't take care of, you know, because once they have these children, they ended up, you know, they get extra money from the government. And, hey, do like I did when I was coming up. My dad worked 3 jobs off and on. had 4 kids and a wife. Hey, man, we made it just fine. We only had the necessities, you know. My mom, you know, we was white beans one day, 3 days later, green beans. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, beans and water and bread, brother. They can do it.
I'm with you, man. And listen, like you go through tough financial times, even if you're not on SNAP benefits. But it's like on you as the adult to be like, hey, instead of buying $8 frozen waffles, why don't we buy flour and eggs and milk, and then we can make the waffles, and then we can make other things after the fact. I know. Listen, common sense, right? Common sense. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time feeling bad for people. Letitia James and Democrat states are out there launching a lawsuit over the lapse in SNAP funding. Secretary Brooke Rollins has responded to that. We'll bring you those comments when we return. It's 9:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Matt Murphy is smart, witty, entertaining, and among the elite in giving you all the facts and information. Just tell him he can't quit his day job.
Jackson, do you know why 6 was afraid of 7?
Because 7 ain't 9.
Come on. That's good. You like that?
WTN app.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here. And if you love freedom, the Second Amendment, and a heck of a deal, listen up because this is for you. My friends at the Glock Store aren't just doing a Black Friday sale. They're throwing a full-blown freedom party on Black Friday. Forget the big box chaos. This is where all the real Americans in Middle Tennessee are going to be on Black Friday. These guys are about to blow the doors off of every sale you've ever seen. Think massive discounts on everything, even Glocks. Giveaways on top of giveaways on top of giveaways, food trucks, maybe even some live music. This whole thing is shaping up to be an event that you'll brag about later. And if you know Glock Store, you know they don't mess around. A couple Saturdays ago, they gave away over 10 Vortex optics to people just for showing up. And I'm told that this Black Friday sale that they're shaping up is going to make that look small. So skip the mall and celebrate your right to bear arms at the one and only Glock Store on Black Friday. Minutes from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere.
Did you see this? This guy is from India. He makes a rogue illegal U-turn and an SUV slams into the back of his truck, killing 3 people inside. The highways are littered with illegal alien truck drivers killing people. How did they get their licenses?
Well, he's in California. We are working with the federal government to extradite him back to Florida. He will face incredibly severe charges here, and then he will be deported. But I will tell you that where was the role of the company in all of this? I don't think this guy spoke English. He clearly didn't know what he was doing behind the wheel. And yes, you shouldn't be giving illegals driver's license. We don't allow that in Florida. California does. They've issued probably over 1 million licenses to illegals in recent years.
Democrats always say, if we could just save one life. Imagine how many lives we could save if we required all of the...
What a Nashville woman posted on social media that landed her in jail. That's coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You may disagree with this lady, but many Democrats actually agree with her.
It's been day 5, and I have not received no food stamps. My disability checks is on hold. My cash benefits is not coming no more. They're still pending. It is the taxpayer's job to pay for my kids to eat and for my kids to be taken care of.
Now, if you have a problem with that, you're clearly the problem. Obviously, this is a you issue. You are a taxpayer. You need to shut up and you need to feed her kids. Don't worry about where their dad is. Stop asking questions. Just work hard and give your money to somebody else. 25 states actually agree with this woman, and they're suing the Trump administration over the SNAP food stamp freeze during the shutdown. Yep. So the Democrats won't vote to reopen the government. The Democrats get pissed off, and now they sue Donald Trump because of consequences of not reopening the government. CBS has a story. A coalition of officials from half of the states and the District of Columbia sued the Trump administration on Tuesday over the suspension of food stamp benefits amid the ongoing government shutdown as millions of Americans brace for a disruption in federal food aid in the coming days. The states, which include California, New York, Pennsylvania, are asking a federal judge in Massachusetts to order the Department of Agriculture to provide benefits through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program for November, including by tapping into a contingency fund to ensure the assistance continues to flow to more than 25 million people living within their borders. Notice they said people, not Americans. That's important. Facts matter. Secretary of the USDA, Brooke Rollins, weighed in on this, and she called it what it is, bovine scatology.
100% unequivocally, USDA does not have the $9.2 billion that it would require. There's not just pots of $9.2 billion sitting around. And what's particularly rich about New York saying that, or California, or any of these other blue states that have filed the lawsuit that say, oh no, we're going to go, you guys, USDA, go find the money, is it's their very friends, partners, colleagues, Democrat elected officials that continue to vote over and over again to keep the government closed. Again, shame on them. I cannot begin to understand what they're thinking. Even their own union, right? Even their own federal government employee union, I don't know the exact name, is urging their own Democratic leaders to open the government back up.
The American Federation of Government Employees.
Listen, Chuck Schumer's getting paid. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is getting paid, but our air traffic controllers not getting paid. Our food stamp recipients are not going to get their benefit beginning Saturday. Our law enforcement, those that are keeping us safe, not getting paid. It's just, it's unbelievable, and I've never seen anything like this. It's surely they're going to change their mind and vote to open any day now.
You would think so, and the polling is starting to absolutely reflect that the Republicans are in the right here. But the message is, talk to your own people. Instead of being mad at the president, instead of filing lawsuits, why don't you talk to your own representatives? You know, the Republicans have tried. Mike Johnson, he's tried to talk to Chuck Schumer. But at this point, he says there is no point in talking to Chuck any longer.
Democratic leaders before the shutdown.
But that was a 1-hour meeting where he basically said, here's our bill, take it or leave it.
Yeah.
That's not a negotiation.
Yeah. Schumer has shown no indication whatsoever that he's changed his posture from that day. So talking with him and trying to negotiate is a waste of time.
Talking with him and negotiating with him is a waste of time. Can't say I blame Mike Johnson for feeling that way. The Democrats are going to have to come to the realization that they need to vote to open the government on their own. It's 9:30. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning now, 9:31. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A Nashville woman's facing 2 felony threat charges after comments that she made against 2 Christian universities over how they handled student grief after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. News 2's Jaxie Pigeon says one of the women's posts threatened to blow up Lipscomb University.
She has since been identified as 25-year-old Carissa Hamlet.
Air
Officials
traffic
say Hamlet's
credit
statement
leaders
caused fear among Lipscomb Academy and Lipscomb University's staff and students.
Now, if convicted on both charges, Hamlet faces 15 years in prison. We learned yesterday about a new construction project at Nashville International Airport. They're going to build a new terminal to help meet the needs of the growing population here. Well, construction begins in November, but the prep work begins today. So WSMV4's Alexandria Adams tells us that twice a day at 9 and 11 o'clock in the morning, they'll be doing blasting work to clear the site of the new terminal.
And that's going to be happening daily until November 21st. Outbound lanes to I-40, those are going to shift to 1 lane during those specific times.
Yes, and crews may even stop traffic periodically, so best to leave for the airport early if you are headed that way. Permission for college students to gamble on pro sports, that's on hold now after revelations about the NBA's gambling scandal. Here's ABC's Perry Rossum.
New details emerge about the gambling scandal that rocked the NBA last week. The alleged supplier of the technology used to rig mafia-backed poker games linked to a prominent NBA coach and former player pleaded not guilty. The technology included X-ray poker tables and special glasses that can read pre-marked cards.
ESPN also reporting that the Miami Heat's Terry Rozier, one of those arrested last week, was allegedly facing an $8 million tax lien from the IRS in 2023. At the same time that he's accused of setting up a trip and fall to help bettors score big. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Open enrollment is here for a lot of people, and you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with health insurance. And as you're going through all the options, you're like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. Is this actually a good deal? Is this actually the best option for me? Listen, I don't know. I'm not a health insurance guy, but I know a health insurance guy, and I would suggest that you talk to Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Shane can make it simple for you. He actually has a brand new nationwide PPO plan that gives you the freedom to pick your own doctors anywhere in the U.S. No referrals, no red tape, $250 deductible, flat $50 copay for any doctor or even specialist. Outpatient surgeries, $250 copay. Hospital stays, just $1,000 total. Free preventative care on colonoscopies, mammograms because it's ACA compliant. And here's the kicker. Shane Ring's plan doesn't come with surprise bills, hidden fees. It's just real protection from real providers. And maybe this isn't the right one for you. This is why you got to talk to Shane. He has over 75 top-rated companies that he works with that'll find the perfect plan for your budget and your needs. This is the difference. This is Cover Nash. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Making health insurance simple. CoverNash.com. Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They didn't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese out. Food stamps is right now.
It's 9:38, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? Chris Hand here. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us on iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. We're on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Rumble. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. Even if you don't like this show and you like other shows on the radio station, helping us grow the digital footprint of the radio station helps everybody. So we appreciate you doing that. I'm joined in studio by a woman who's been making some headlines. Joanna Daniels is back. We've been covering this story that's been happening with the Sumner County Library Board for a few months now. You've been coming in and sharing, regaling the tales of the board. And it seems like you have been up against rhinos and leftists and fighting the good fight. Recently, they voted to remove you from the board. And that's it's disappointing. It's disappointing because I think that the reason they wanted to remove you is because you were making too much noise. And I think what do the Democrats always say? It's good trouble. It's good trouble. So you were making good trouble, and they said this woman is too loud. She's causing too much attention, too much of a circus. We need to get rid of her. So they vote to remove you. And then the person that they voted to replace you with was Riley Gaines, which, if anybody knows anything, she's got a pretty big platform.
Yes. Well, Chris, I want to say thank you again so much for allowing me to be on the show since August. I can't believe that we're in the end of October now.
It's crazy, right?
I can't believe that we're in the end of October and this policy still hasn't passed in a Republican conservative county yet. And
because the big issue is just removing transgender ideology books off the shelves of public libraries.
That is it. Yes.
And they label you as book banners, and they equate you to Nazis burning books, and it's like, no, you could still buy them.
Yes.
You just don't want them, at toddler eye level and in the libraries.
Absolutely. And there's already been the Fifth Circuit Court released a ruling. And I want to read this to you really quickly because I think it's really important to make sure that it is very well understood that this Fifth Circuit Court said that the First Amendment can't be invoked to challenge a library's decision about which books to buy, which books to keep, or which books to remove. The court held this, okay? So everyone says, oh, this is a First Amendment right. No, it isn't, because it is one thing to tell the government it cannot stop you from receiving a book, which when we don't put it in the library doesn't mean you can't receive it, okay?
Right.
The court said the First Amendment protects your right to do that. It is another thing for you to tell the government which books it must keep in the library. The First Amendment does not give you the right to demand that, okay? And then furthermore, you know, it was talking about, it says how, you know, parents fighting gender indoctrination in school and libraries. The Fifth Circuit just set welcome precedent. They've been under a relentless, coordinated nationwide attack, smearing them as book banners for years. We're not banning a book, okay? But the court rejected the censorship trope as dishonest wordplay. And then, to remove any doubt, it overruled its own 1995 decision in Campbell versus St. Tammany Parish School Board, where it suggested students could challenge the removal of a book from public school libraries, calling the decision a mistake. They said, no one is banning or burning books, the court said. All Llano County has done here is what libraries have been doing for 2 centuries. Decide which books they want in their collections. That is what it means to be a library, to make judgments about which books are worth reading and which are not, which ideas belong on the shelves and which do not. We as a library, or now them as a library board, have the complete authority to decide what goes on the shelves and what doesn't. It's not a First Amendment violation.
No, you can go buy those books on Amazon today. You can receive that book at your home. You can go to Barnes & Noble and probably buy that book.
Yep.
It's available wherever you want to get it.
Absolutely. And, you know, I've been having this conversation with numerous people that we as conservatives and Christians need to start taking back words and phrases. We are not banning it. And any Christian who, or conservative that goes, well, you know, I don't want to ban something. We're not banning it because we're making a decision. Well, now they are making a decision to put what to put on the shelves and what not to put on the shelves. If you start saying that a decision results in a ban all the time, then every decision I make is going to result in banning something.
Right.
And that's not correct. We're making a decision. They're curating a collection. Now, also, we have to remind ourselves, and this is, I'm talking to conservatives that are okay with these books being in the library. This is taxpayer funded.
Yes.
Okay. We have to realize that if we allow our monies to be used, our taxes, to fund this, the library, then it has to go along with the foundation of our country.
Yep.
And also, right now, we can't use taxpayer funds to pay for transitioning for children or adults, right? We can't use taxpayer-funded taxpayers to pay our monies to fund anything according to the executive order that promotes transgender ideology. Therefore, if you have it in the library, it is being funded with our taxes.
And I don't understand how conservatives aren't upset about this, because those same conservatives were in an uproar when Doge revealed that we were funding transgender operas in, Uruguay, and a transgender comic book in Peru, and a DEI musical in Ireland. People are like, why are we wasting our money on this? I think this is in the same vein. And I think that you could make the argument this is even worse, because it's affecting us directly here at home and our kids.
Absolutely. And what I also think is that conservatives, Republicans that are for the First Amendment, because I'm for the First Amendment. Of course I am. I'm for the Constitution. But the whole First Amendment argument has become muddled. All right. Free speech doesn't mean that you can say anything. Okay. The Comstock Act said that as well. The Comstock Act said that the public postal service could not be used to send anything that's obscene, lewd, or anything. Okay. Therefore, since that being a governmental entity, the Supreme Court said that no, you can't send that stuff through a governmental entity. Therefore, it didn't say that freedom of speech even went to the Postal Service. So therefore, if it doesn't even go through the Postal Service, how can we even apply that to the libraries? So conservatives need to understand that we've got to take back the real meaning of the First Amendment. You can say what you want to say, but there are repercussions, there are consequences, and the government, my tax dollars, don't have to pay for it to be anywhere that the government funds.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've been fighting this fight for a while, and it's gotten under a lot of people's skin, and they voted to remove you from the library board because of it. Since then, Riley Gaines was voted in your place. What's been the response from the public and from the members of the board with Riley Gaines now taking your spot?
Well, I want to go back to October 20th, the night of that happening, because I really want to show that when believers show up and they take a stand and they actually sacrifice their time and stand strong, God shows up.
Amen.
Okay. So on the 20th, at that county commissioners meeting, you looked out and there was a sea of red shirts, okay, because I'd asked people to wear red.
Yep.
And over 100. I mean, the chambers was full. We endured over 2 hours of public comment in support of me, in support of the library staying at 9. Well, then the debate now that started at 7 p.m. The debate on this resolution didn't even start till about 11:15, 11:30 at night.
That's crazy.
At night. And over half of those people still stayed, okay? The people that showed up was like Pastor Todd Coconato from the Remnant Church, Pastor Dan Smith from United Church in Gallatin, Clay Baggett from Three Oaks Church, and then we had people from the Fireside Fellowship. So we had 4 churches showing up. All right.
Which is huge.
Which is huge. They finally came and it was amazing.
Yep.
And then some of the pastors stayed. So when the debate started at between 11:15 and 11:30 at night, those commissioners had to look out into the faces of these people and had to actually debate this. And the vote didn't actually end until about 12:45 in the morning. That is how long we stayed there.
Is that the longest meeting you've ever been a part of?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I say this because one is that it was God because God does test us. Can you agree with me on that?
100%.
Okay. He wants to see, do you really mean this? Do you really want this? And the fact that people stayed and prayed and stood their ground, God prevailed. And Riley got put on there. It's so funny. You said this earlier. I was taken off because I was loud.
Yes,
and the Lord...
He's got such a sense of humor. It cracks me up.
Oh my gosh. I was giggling the whole time during this debate because it really exposed the rhinos of Sumner County. There was ones that were trying to push, they wanted to go back to committee about this whole resolution about whether to go 9 to 7 or to put Riley up there or whatever. And it was so funny. So Shannon Bergdorf, Commissioner Bergdorf, who is the county commissioner that's on the library board. Okay, she's also the chair of the committee on committee.
Okay.
And when they were saying, yeah, well, let's send it back to committee on committee, then we can bring forward Riley and Steve's name, and we can debate. And then once it comes out of there, then we can talk about it. Commissioner Chrissy Miller stood up and basically called out Commissioner Bergdorf, saying, I just want you to know that she's back here saying that if it comes to committee on committee, she's not going to bring forward those names, and just called her out in the meeting. And I was just like, I was floored. And so, yeah, it was just, and then you've got the people like, like Dylan Lamberth, Commissioner Dylan Lamberth, Commissioner Mark Harrison, who say to be, long-term conservatives, that were just saying things that, and voting in ways that it was totally against what they say that they stand for. And so when it came down, 16 people voted to bring Riley in, 6 against. Those 6 that voted against it were Commissioner Shannon Bergdorf, Commissioner Jerry Becker, which is the chair of the commission, Merrill Hyde, which we know have that history with Merrill Hyde in the library board, Ben Harris, Mark Harrison, and Baker Ring. Those are the 6 conservatives that voted against Riley and Steve being on the board. So it's just, and when I left there at 12:45, and the amount of the many people that stayed with me, we talked afterwards, and they said, "Wow, we really got to see where the rhinos are in the county," and they saw what I call the Great 8, okay, which is Jeremy Mansfield, Chrissy Miller, Deborah Holmes, Mary Janung, Jamie Teachner, David Klein, Bob Brown. Oh, I always forget somebody. And David Klein. Those are the Great 8 of Sumner County that have been fighting nonstop for just for true conservative values. And so what I'm excited for is that Riley Gaines and Steve Wazowski got put on there. And Riley has such a huge platform that I definitely could never be as loud as she is.
I know. And she's got a unique skill set there with that platform.
She does. And she's a young mom. And the great thing is that, she's 25 years old.
Yep.
They always talk about old people being on the library boards. And yeah, I'm old. Okay. But also, and Tim Jones. Sorry, Tim Jones is part of the Great 8. So sorry, Tim. I literally just thought of that. So I apologize. I told you I always forget people. So let me recap that really quickly, just so you make sure. It's Jeremy Mansfield, Tim Jones, Deborah Holmes, Mary Janung, David Klein, Bob Brown, Jamie Teachner, and Chrissy Miller. Okay, those are the Great 8. Sorry. So we have to make sure that now that Riley Gaines is on there and Steve Wazowski are on there, that the people keep showing up, because we know for sure where Riley is on a lot of this stuff, for sure. We don't know where Steve is on this stuff, because I don't know Steve. So we really have to make sure that the people who showed up on October 20th keep showing up.
You have another meeting tomorrow night. What time is that meeting at, and where is it?
So the meeting is tomorrow night. And now remember, it's not my meeting, it's the library board meeting now.
Right.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're just a spectator.
Yes, it is October 30th tomorrow at 4 p.m. at the County Commission admin building. And that's 355 North Belvedere Road. So October 30th, 4 p.m., 355 North Belvedere Road.
And we do have to continue showing up in force, because this battle hasn't ended. Like, this is just the beginning. Joanna Daniels is in studio with us, former Sumner County Library chairman. And the rhinos are fighting against Riley even taking the seat. Lawsuits have been filed. You have time to hang out, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to talk about this, because they haven't stopped the resistance against this. They're still fighting tooth and nail. And now lawsuits have been filed to keep Riley off of the Sumner County Library Board, which we'll talk about next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Pastor Alan Jackson, and I'm excited to invite you to join me for my brand new show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Every Sunday night from 7 to 8, I'll be talking about the week's news and headlines, but through a biblical lens. Together, we'll look at what's happening in our world and how God's Word can guide us through it. Join me, Pastor Alan Jackson, Sunday evenings at 7 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And you can listen on iHeartRadio and tune in.
So this dude's dog wanders into the shot. And who is this guy?
So this is Hassan Piker. He's a left-wing streamer. He's very radical, Muslim, friends with Mamdani, big Mamdani supporter. And, you know, this is just an insight to the kind of people they truly are at home. And he's on his live stream.
Yeah.
And as you said, his dog gets in the shot, won't sit down, which I understand. But at the same time, this dog is not getting in his way or anything. He is simply just circling, or as my wife would call it, nesting, trying to find that comfy spot.
Yeah.
So he shocks him.
Much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just f***ing go, just stop.
You know, kind of ironic this guy is talking about violence.
Yeah, right.
While he shocks his dog. His dog's literally not even doing anything. He's just, as you said, he's circling in the background.
Yep.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We are not out of the woods for big delays on the roadways this morning, especially traveling on 24 in the Smyrna area. There's a crash westbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. And on the eastbound side at Sam Ridley Parkway, there's a crash at the off-ramp. And the shoulder, portion of the shoulder there is blocked off by it. Southwestern Jamaica took a direct hit from Hurricane Melissa. Many areas of that island remain cut off by flooding. The number of deaths now at 7. That is, however, expected to rise.
Jamaica's prime minister declaring the entire island a disaster area. Most of the island left without power. Only about 15,000 Jamaicans hunkering down in shelters. Most of the population reluctant to leave their homes. Hotels using ballrooms and auditoriums to keep tourists and staff safe. Disaster response teams in Miami gathering food, water, and generators to send once conditions improve. Royal Caribbean promising a ship to help transport aid.
That's ABC's Lyle Moisey. In Cuba, Melissa arrived as a Category 3, causing severe flooding and extensive damage to homes, hospitals, and schools. Score another one for a Maryland man. Yesterday, an Obama-appointed judge in Maryland ordered Salvadoran illegal immigrant Kilmar Abrego Garcia to remain in the U.S. through November so he can attend a court hearing here in Nashville. So that was one judge just helping another. The question here in Nashville, did the federal government bring charges against Abrego Garcia as an act of retaliation? He had been set for deportation to Liberia on Friday. President Trump landed in South Korea this morning, greeted by a band playing YMCA as he shook hands with officials on the tarmac. He was lavished with gifts while there, including a gold crown and gold jewels, the country's highest award. The president finalized a $350 billion trade deal with South Korea moments ago. Next up is his meeting with China.
This is the president's final stop in Asia ahead of his high-stakes meeting with Chinese President Xi. If no deal is reached, the president warned he would slap an additional 100% tariff on Chinese imports by Saturday. A move that would escalate the trade war and raise prices on everything from clothes to electronics. The administration says the potential deal would cover fentanyl and tariffs and include a pledge by China to resume buying American agriculture like soybeans. It would also loosen restrictions on China's sale of rare earth minerals, critical for making smartphones and cars.
That's ABC's Rachel Scott. Democrats plan to introduce legislation now to pay for SNAP benefits and WIC. The Hill reporting that they're looking for ways to ease the impact of the 4-week shutdown. But House Speaker Mike Johnson says they could have avoided the problems weeks ago.
Senate Democrats knew the pain this would cause. They knew about the missed paychecks. They knew the uncertainty of making rent for so many people. They knew about the missed meals. They knew about delayed flights. They knew that our nuclear arsenal and our national defense would be negatively affected by this, and they did not care. They shut the government down anyway.
Now, there is another vote scheduled for 10:30 Central Time this morning in the Senate about a half hour from now. That'll be the 14th attempt to end this shutdown. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
We've just reached the 2-year mark of the Freddie O'Connell tenure as mayor of the city of Nashville. And one asks oneself, what has he done for this city? Now, look, I've had Freddie on this show. And do I need to tell you yet again that he seems like a nice enough guy? Do I need to? Oh, he seems like a nice enough guy. I'd like to sit down and have a beer with him. You know, my grandma seems like a nice enough lady, but she's dead. I don't want her to be the mayor of Nashville. Just because they're nice people doesn't mean that they're good leaders. Now, Freddie is set to be on this radio show in 3 weeks. November 7th, we have him slated, I think, in the 3 o'clock hour. I was talking to his guy, Alex Apple, about that just several days ago. And we will present all of this to him. Tell me what your accomplishments are as mayor of this city, besides raising taxes, because you've done that twice. Twice.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, how are you? Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere, iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble. Those are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share. I'm joined in studio by Joanna Daniels, the former Sumner County Library Chairman. You were removed for making too much noise, kicking up too much dust, and in the wake of that, somebody who could make even more noise was appointed to your seat. Yes. Riley Gaines.
Yes. Only God. Only God.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
What a turn of events.
Yes.
And we celebrated that as a victory. And it was a huge victory because it was like, haha, like you thought you were silencing, patriots, and you're not. It's only going to get worse and louder. Mm-hmm. But they haven't stopped the fight. And the rhinos in Sumner County, I think the better move would have been to just keep your head low and hope and pray that Riley got bored with it and stopped showing up. But that's not the route that they have chosen to take, with Riley Gaines being appointed to the Sumner County School Board.
Correct. Library Board.
Library Board. Excuse
Yes.
me. Sorry, I misspoke. What are they doing today to stop Riley Gaines from taking the seat on the Library Board?
So the same group of people that have been shouting about how this transgender policy will bring about frivolous lawsuits, or a lawsuit that will be a drain on the taxpayers' money of Sumner County, are the same people that is bringing about a frivolous lawsuit to stop Riley Gaines from being on the library board, saying that how she got on there was illegal.
Okay. So just to back up and zoom out a little bit, they didn't want to remove transgender books because they said that there would be a lawsuit from like the ACLU or something.
Yes.
And say that you guys are discriminating.
Yes.
I happen to think that that's a good lawsuit because I think you guys would win that lawsuit and then precedent would be set.
Absolutely.
But they said, we can't have these frivolous lawsuits. We can't waste taxpayer money. Riley Gaines gets appointed to the library board. Instantly. It hasn't been 10 days. We're now looking at a lawsuit because they're claiming, and these are Republicans that are filing the lawsuit. It's important to point out.
Yes, these are Republicans.
They're saying that Riley Gaines' appointment to the board is illegal.
Yes.
How so?
So basically what the point is that according to this lawsuit, there wasn't public notice that there were 2 seats available for the library board, which is incorrect. Okay. One seat has been available for months now. All right. And just hasn't been filled because Commissioner Bergdorf, who is the chairman of the Committee on Committee, has not brought forth a name. Okay. And so we already know that has been open. And Commissioner Matt Shove brought forth Steve's name before to fill that spot, and he was voted down. And so we already know about that. Also, the resolution that was brought forward on October 20th by Commissioner Bergdorf stated that upon this resolution being adopted, if it would have been adopted, that the 2 seats that are rolling off would be eliminated, therefore stating that 2 seats are open or coming open. So then in and of itself basically says that there's 2 seats open.
Right.
And so what happened is normal governmental process in a public forum. They debated on this resolution and they decided to keep it at 9, which is what it already was. So we didn't add seats, but we filled 2 seats
that were vacant.
Or at least one becoming vacant.
How dare you?
I know.
This is unbelievable.
So this is a frivolous lawsuit that is basically trying to stop this policy from getting passed through, or the possibility of it getting passed through, from Riley, who has a bigger, obviously, platform than I do, bringing this policy or this what's going on in Sumner County to an even bigger platform.
Am I wrong in thinking that this is really about Riley Gaines? Because granted, two new members were appointed, right? And there's another gentleman in the mix as well. I have a hard time believing if Riley Gaines wasn't the second name or the first name that this lawsuit would have been filed.
Oh, absolutely. This is an absolute attack, just like a school board member has emailed the county commissioners about, her name is Megan, about how it is so wrong for Riley to be on the library board. This is a school board member of Sumner County that is a sitting school board member that emailed the county commissioner saying that Riley should not be on there. And now, mind you, the school board member also says that she's a conservative and is a Christian and everything as well. But that Riley Gaines being on this library board is divisive, and not good for the community. And yet...
I thought we were in super red Tennessee, super red Sumner County.
Absolutely. And also a reminder that on October 20th, that chambers for the commission was full of people, hundreds of people, that said that they wanted, 1, to keep me on the library board, and then 2, to keep it at 9. And those same people have been showing up at the library board meetings on October 8th, October 14th, and October 20th, saying that they want this policy to pass. So, in my opinion, honestly, I think this policy has united Sumner County, especially the true conservatives, because now they're speaking up and coming to the meetings and taking a stand.
Well, and it seems like the current members are subverting the will of the people, which is I'm not a fan of. So who exactly filed the lawsuit?
Her name is Charlena Allmiller.
And she is a conservative and a card-carrying GOP party member.
Yes, she is. She is a GOP card-carrying member, Republican, Christian, goes to the meetings. I mean, she is and proud to be a Republican. Yes.
So where's the disconnect? Why wouldn't you want a strong conservative voice like Riley's backing you up?
Well, I have to let you know that Charlene Allmiller, since the new county commission took office in 2022, she has another lawsuit that's been going on for 3 years that she filed against the county commission. And I don't know all the details, but I know it involves Jeremy Mansfield. And so everything involves Jeremy Mansfield. And Charlene Allmiller was always in the audience when we were doing library board meetings a majority of the time, sitting in the front row with her, with her phone going on. And then she would always make comments afterwards. And so she's obviously, I'm going to say she's a rhino. I mean, I don't know where she's at on this being a Republican, because I don't see anything Republican or conservative about what she's doing. It makes no sense to me. So I'm not sure why she's even still being accepted into the Republican Party. Makes no sense.
At what point does Sumner County start rejecting these voices? I mean, are we there? Are we at that critical tipping point right now where people are saying enough is enough? When is she up for re-election? When is she going to be removed?
Well, Charlene Allmiller, she's not, in a seat or anything like that, but she is just part of the GOP. She's just this woman that has a voice and says that she is, a Republican, and she's fighting for Republican and conservative values, but she's not. She again says that we shouldn't pass this policy because it will cause us to get into lawsuits. All right. But now she brings frivolous lawsuits. This is her second frivolous lawsuit that is now going to have to be paid for by taxpayer money.
Do you get nervous speaking about her that she might levy a lawsuit against you?
I'm not nervous. No, because in all honesty, people can sue anybody for anything. I'm not saying anything about her that isn't public knowledge. I'm being factual. Am I afraid of her? No, because you know what? God did not give me a spirit of fear, right? So I'm not afraid. And I also, what needs to be very important to the library board members now and to the county commissioners is that they shouldn't be in fear of a lawsuit for this policy either. And Christian conservatives of Sumner County, that if this lawsuit were to happen, if this policy were to pass, and this lawsuit were to happen to come against the library board or against the county, the people of Sumner County need to step up and support the library board, and maybe even do a GoFundMe to help support this, because this is important. If we keep running from lawsuits, then we're running and then we're being in fear.
Yep.
Because that is the biggest weapon of the opposition. I don't care if they say they're Republican or liberal. When they're coming against what is right, their biggest fear tactic is, I'm going to do a lawsuit. Okay, bring it. The only way that we got Roe v. Wade reversed was through a lawsuit.
Right.
So we as Christians and as real conservatives should actually welcome lawsuits and go, bring it on. Let's do this. Let's set the precedent. Let's get this right now.
It's important to point out, though, that this could be handled at the state level. We've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. Secretary of State Trey Hargett, with a stroke of a pen, no votes needed, he could change the library policy for every library in the state. Have you talked with Secretary of State Trey Hargett any more about doing that?
Nope. I have not had a chance to. But I do know that other people that have emailed him, and I do need to email him again. So I do apologize. It's been a little bit crazy the last 10 days.
Oh, I can imagine.
But he could do this. And I just encourage people to email him. And again, I had a conversation with him. So he knows where I stand on it. So really me emailing him is kind of...
Seems like we need a Riley tweet.
We do. We need a Riley tweet. We need a Johnny Garrett tweet. You know, Johnny Garrett, who went into a Sumner County library and asked for Fred Gets Dressed book and did a whole, reel on it about how these things are actually in the Sumner County libraries. Well, it is. And so if Johnny Garrett is really going to stand strong that he wants to get this stuff out of the libraries, okay, not in another section, not, wherever else. No. It's to be out because, again, children have access to the full library. And we have to not only think about, elementary age children. We have to think about, to 18 to 17 people that can go wherever they want to. So if Johnny Garrett really wants to stick to this, then he has access to Secretary of State Trey Hargett as well. And so, kind of put your money where your mouth is, right?
Yep.
And if he's going to make it real, then he needs to have a real sit down with Secretary of State Trey Hargett.
Amen. Well, I love that you're in this fight, Joanna, and I love that you're not backing down. And I truly do appreciate that. I wish that we could get more backup for you than just Riley Gaines, but I know that the people are showing up as well, and that's massive. That can't be underscored. If it wasn't a full room, I don't know if we get Riley Gaines appointed to the library board. There's another meeting tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, the 30th. Where is the meeting and what time?
Sure. So tomorrow, Thursday, October 30th at 4 p.m. at the County Admin Building, which is 355 North Belvedere Drive in Gallatin. And it is really important for people to show up, wear your red again. Let's support this. And then also, I want to put this out really quickly, is that if there are any amazing constitutional attorneys that feel like they want to take this on, get in contact with me. Because I have a friend on the board in South Carolina, and they're getting sued. But there's a for similar transgender policy, but not as distinct as this one. But they're filing for a dismissal because of the Fifth Circuit court judgment.
Let's go.
And then also Rutherford County, they had to remove their transgender policy, but that's because a lot of their policies had ALA, American Library Association policies within their policy. Ours doesn't. We've already removed that possibility. So Thursday, October 30th at 4 p.m. at 355 North Belvedere Drive in Gallatin. Show up, show your support for this policy, and make the board members there look you in the eye when they vote against this. And we have to also pray against confusion. Too many, like when you're in a board meeting, some people, well, what about this? We should change this word. We should change this word. I want you to know I worked with 2 attorneys on creating this policy, and the verbiage is sound.
Ironclad.
Mm-hmm.
Joanna Daniels, thank you for being in the fight. Good luck at the meeting tomorrow afternoon. We'll be praying for you. It's 1022 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friend Dan over at Cabinet Makeovers. Are you looking to make an investment in your house? Let me tell you, we needed to do it in the kitchen. We needed an upgrade. And my wife said, how about pull-out cabinets? And I said, I've never thought about that before. She goes, it's all I've been thinking about. I said, okay, all right, well, let's find somebody. And we found the best company, Cabinet Makeovers. Everything they do is Tennessee-made, family-owned company, and they put their biblical values into everything. I said, sign me up. 45 years they've been doing this. Every cabinet they installed in my home, every pull-out, every drawer is all wood construction, full extension, soft close glides, and the craftsmanship is of the highest levels. It really makes the kitchen special. It makes it easier for the kids to get things out of the pantry. It makes it easier for my wife and myself to get pots that used to be in the back of the cabinets. I can't tell you how much of an improvement this has been on my kitchen. It's going to be an improvement on yours as well. Now, maybe you're thinking I don't need kitchens. Well, they don't stop there. They do custom closets, pantries, cabinetry for every room in your house. If you're looking to make that investment, do it with a company that prides themselves on Tennessee and biblical values. That guides their business. That's the difference. Give them a call today, 615-331-7010, 615-331-7010. See pictures of what your new cabinets are going to look like right now. CabinetMakeoversTN.com.
We're tracking Hurricane Melissa's path. It looks headed for the Bahamas now. And President Trump scoops up another trade deal and some crown jewels. That and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's 1026, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Shout out to Joanna Daniels for coming in. She's great. Big fan of her. A lot of people need to change their tune over there in Sumner County, and I hope that they do it soon. You ready for a radio segue? You know who's changed his tune? Bill Gates. Bill Gates is actually, he's out there now saying climate change is no threat to humanity after all. Is this another one of those conspiracy theorists being right kind of things? Is it really, it was all about the money the whole time? It was all about the money the whole time, wasn't it? Breitbart has the story. Why are people panicking about the weather? Climate doomer Bill Gates thinks everyone should calm down. He believes climate change is a serious problem, but it won't be the end of humanity as we know it. A 17-page memo released Tuesday by the billionaire reveals. Gates now thinks scientific innovation will curb any threats, real and perceived. He's probably still trying to block out the sun. Full disclosure. He's probably still focusing on that. But he says the planet's climate, it's instead time for a strategic pivot away from focusing on limiting rising temperatures to fighting poverty and preventing disease. The 70-year-old said in a memo that the world's primary goal should now work to prevent suffering, particularly for those in the toughest conditions in the world's poorest countries. I was under the impression from people like Bill Gates that it was actually climate change hits poor people first. Do you remember that? I remember that. AP reports if given a choice between eradicating malaria and 1/10 of a degree increase in warming. Gates told reporters, I'll let the temperature go up by 0.1 degree to get rid of malaria. People don't understand the suffering that exists today. Bill Gates, he understands. You don't. You don't understand suffering. Bill Gates understands suffering. Didn't his wife leave him after she found out that he was doing business deals with Epstein after the pedophilia convictions?
Oh, really?
Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's how it went down.
It's for the best.
Bill Gates knows suffering. He knows suffering. He's now urging world leaders to ask whether the little money designated for climate is being spent on the right things, AP notes, in an apparent backflip from all his past warnings on the future of the planet, saying if you think climate is not important, you won't agree with the memo. If you think climate is the only cause and apocalyptic, you won't agree with the memo, Gates said during a roundtable discussion with reporters ahead of the release. It's kind of this pragmatic view of somebody who's, trying to maximize the money and the innovation that goes to help in these poor countries. Bill Gates has long been warning of the impending climate doom, as Breitbart News has reported. Along with other billionaires, he has flown around the world by private jet to tell people to stop flying around the world, stay home, and save the planet. And today, Bill Gates is saying, hey, not actually a big deal. Right after he got all those contracts and all that money. Now he's not stressed about it. That's good. That's good. I'm glad Bill Gates came around. I haven't been stressed about it at all. See, I knew that Barack Obama always had our back because he bought that oceanfront property in Martha's Vineyard to monitor rising sea levels like the hero he is. It's 10:30, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Hurricane Melissa is taking aim now at the Bahamas after a direct hit on Jamaica as a devastating Category 5 and then crossing over Cuba. ABC meteorologist Ginger Z says Melissa is weaker but no less dangerous.
The storm surge could be considerable, but on top of surge and of course the big waves and surf, you've got the Bahamas and Cuba with an additional half-foot of rain. So anything you've ever had going to push these rivers and landslide potential even higher.
7 people have been reported killed in Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. President Trump making more progress on trade deals. Fox News' Lucas Tomlinson on his successes in South Korea this morning.
President Trump has arrived here in South Korea with all the pomp this country can muster, including fighter escorts, the red carpet, and just moments ago, President Trump announcing that the U.S. and South Korea have inked a $350 billion trade agreement. Of course, the United States is South Korea's second largest trading partner.
On the pomp and circumstance part of that, South Korea has awarded him the country's highest honors, which comes with a gold crown and gold jewels. And maybe the munchies got to him. A 22-year-old Nashville man arrested for breaking into fire station number 9 on Ronald Reagan Way about 3 o'clock yesterday morning. News 2's Megan Fee.
Arrest documents show firefighters told police the suspect was seen running from the fire hall bay with beverages taken from the ambulance and seen taking food from the kitchen area. Officers arrested that suspect, 22-year-old Mohammed Daoud Hamad.
Now, Daoud Hamad was tracked down and found with several marijuana vapes in his possession. He's now facing several charges. That is the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're tired of back pain, knee pain, neck pain ruining your life, well, listen up, because we can get you back to a pain-free life, and it's not going to break the bank. It's the Big Daddy Trump special. We've been talking about it for months. And it's going to keep going because Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley just want to get you back to a pain-free life. $12. That's it. $12 is going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. You're not going to find a deal like this anywhere else in Tennessee, and maybe even in the entire country. And people say it all the time. Why didn't I come here first? Don't let that be what you say. Go to them first. No matter what you're dealing with, back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, they're going to treat it all. And they're not going to treat it with painful injections, surgery, or opioids. I know, shocker. That's what the other guys want to do. No. That's not what they do at the Wellness Institute. They go with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, anti-gravity machines, no surgery, no injections, no painkillers. It's time to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. Give the Wellness Institute of Nashville a call today, 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or find them online, painisbad.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
It's 10:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got Mason Fleming producing. Joan Jones has fled the newsroom. We got Ken Weaver back there now.
But Ken Weaver's here.
He's loading up. He's getting ready.
Oh, I'm ready, boys. I just had to take the long way to work.
You had to take the long way?
Yeah, 24, man.
Was it just chaos?
Yeah, it was going to be like an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh, you mean just a normal commute for me?
Yeah, the normal one for you, dude.
Dude, I don't feel any sympathy for Ken Weaver. I just don't.
Come on, Brother Chris. Brother Chris, I had to take a 2-lane road over to 65, man. Come on.
I can't. I can't feel sympathy for you.
Even if there was a little bit of water on the roadway?
A little bit. I'll give you a little. Yeah, I'm glad you're here, though.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here in one piece. I'll tell you that.
Why is it in this town that anything that comes from a cloud makes people forget what they need to do?
I don't know, man. All you got to do is slow down, turn on your lights, and just
be.
Let people in if they need to get in, you know.
I'm with you.
Give plenty of distance between you and the other guy. I don't get it either, man.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
It only takes one stupid move, dude. Just one stupid move, man. And I mean, it just messes everything up.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Speaking of one stupid move, this is a hell of a radio segue. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
It's a few stupid moves. Several pre-planned stupid moves. Zohran Mamdani, everybody's favorite mayoral candidate from New York.
Yeah.
He's in a bit of hot water today. This story broke last night. New York Post has it. And I don't want to be like the guys like, the walls are closing in on Zohran Mamdani. I don't want to do that. I know what it sounded like when the other side was doing the walls are closing in. I know. This is probably not going to end his campaign. In fact, this is probably going to bolster him support with his radical leftist base. But I want to talk about this. I think it's a big story. Zohran Mamdani faces criminal referrals to DOJ over alleged illegal campaign donations from foreigners. New York City mayoral frontrunner Zohran Mamdani was hit with 2 criminal referrals Tuesday filed by a campaign finance watchdog accusing the lefty socialist of accepting illegal contributions from foreign donors. Now, here's it's not that much money. We'll dive into the numbers in a second. But this is the type of thing that I guarantee you Republicans would be like, you have to drop out to their own guy. They would look at them and they'd say, how dare you do this? You besmirch the good name of the Republicans and you must be gone. They do it all the time. They never stand behind their guy. Democrats always stand behind their guy. Gold Bar Bob, he was like voting while he was dealing with his trial.
Gold Bar Bob.
Do you remember him from New Jersey, Bob Menendez?
Yes.
He was getting gold bars from the government of Egypt, and they were like, yeah, but he's a Democrat, so let's see how this plays out in court. And then you get a guy on the Republican side like Santos, who I don't think is like a great guy by any stretch of the imagination, but when we had a slim majority, his votes would have helped. He does something wrong, it's like, he's got to go. We're above this. So this is going to be the inevitable outcome of this. You're going to have Democrats standing behind Zohran. And if he was a Republican, they'd be asking him to step down. The Coolidge-Reagan Foundation filed the referrals alleging Mamdani may have violated the Federal Election Campaign Act and New York Election Code with the Department of Justice's Criminal Division and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office on Tuesday. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch when it comes to Alvin Bragg's office. But the Department of Justice Criminal Referral Division, we'll see what they do. The referrals were filed after the Post reported earlier this month that Mamdani's campaign raked in nearly $13,000 in contributions from at least 170 donors with addresses outside the U.S. So if we're doing napkin math, 13,000 divided by 170, it's like $76 a head. This is not an overwhelming amount of money. It's not like he had millions coming in from foreign donors that we know of. Doesn't say that he doesn't have millions coming in from foreign donors, but this is just what's been alleged, right? $13,000. I'm telling you, if this was a Republican, all of the GOP would be calling for him to step down. But he's not, so they won't. 13,000 in contributions from at least 170 donors with addresses outside the U.S., including one from his mother-in-law in Dubai. Mom, what are you doing? These are not isolated incidents or clerical errors, Dan Backer, a national campaign finance expert and the president of the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, said in a statement. He said this was a sustained pattern of foreign money flowing into New York City mayoral race, which is a clear violation of both federal law and New York City campaign finance rules. Mamdani's campaign was on notice for months that it was accepting illegal foreign contributions, and yet it did nothing meaningful to stop it. The Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, which has previously lodged complaints against AOC, Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, and urged Bragg and the DOJ to investigate and prosecute Mamdani over the potentially illegal campaign cash, which flowed from Australia, Turkey, France, Canada, Germany, and other countries. Now, I would just go back to a little bit before. AOC and Hillary Clinton, what happened to them? Nothing. So nothing's probably going to happen here. But the group is urging and arguing that Mamdani's campaign has demonstrated a systematic failure to comply with campaign finance laws. Under the Federal Election Campaign Act, it is unlawful to accept or receive contributions from foreign nationals in any federal, state, or local election. Violators who knowingly accept donations could face hefty fines and imprisonment. This is going to be where you have to hang your hat. Can you prove that Mamdani knowingly was accepting those donations? The law is crystal clear that foreign nationals may not participate in American elections, and that includes making contributions, Backer continued. Yet Mamdani's campaign repeatedly accepted donations from individuals abroad, some even tied to regions and individuals openly sympathetic to hostile actors. Whether through negligence or intent, this conduct undermines the integrity of the democratic process. We know Democrats love yelling about democracy. Will they do it here? While the Mamdani campaign appears to have returned some of the contributions, records show that at least 88 donations totaling $7,190 have not been given back. Mamdani's campaign has raised about $4 million in private donations and has received $12.7 million in public matching funds. Again, this is a drop in the bucket to what he's been able to raise. You're peeing in the ocean, and I understand that. But the double standard still exists. And if a Republican was caught doing this, his own party would be willing to throw him out. And the Democrats will not say a peep about this. Not a word. Just like they didn't when he said his aunt was being harassed for wearing hijab after 9/11. And then they say, well, actually, your aunt wasn't even living in the country. And he said, I didn't mean my aunt. I meant my dad's cousin. Like I could be the Walter closing in guy, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Mamdani's going to be the mayor of New York City. He's got to be. I don't know what else he could do. Like, he would have to do something drastic to lose at this point, which is insane. Governor Ron DeSantis was talking about Zohran Mamdani the other day. I've been critical of DeSantis in the past. I have. It's fair. The criticisms were fair. They were. He should have waited. He shouldn't have tried to primary or run against Donald Trump in 2024. He shouldn't have worn high heel boots. These things, it's a matter of public record at this point. But I like what he's doing in Florida. And he's been doing a heck of a job in Florida. I think Byron Donalds will do a great job as well. But DeSantis recently established Club America chapters in all of the high schools in Florida. Those are Turning Point USA clubs, which is fantastic. Huge news. And then last night, he was talking about Zohran Mamdani on Fox News.
No, exactly. I mean, we'll see what happens in the election, but if he is elected, I think it'll be an example of the voters of New York City committing an act of ballistic podiatry, because it is going to come back and bite the city. He is so far left, and he mixes his leftism with Islamism. He's going to make the de Blasio years look like the golden age. And I can tell you in Florida, we're affected by this just with the law enforcement alone. If you're working in NYPD, do you want to go out there and risk your life knowing that the mayor hates you? No, a lot of them are not going to want to do that. And in Florida, we've established a $5,000 recruitment bonus. So if you are somebody that doesn't want to serve under that guy as mayor, you come to Florida, any state or local law enforcement agency, you get $5,000 right at the top.
I mean, it's a good program to have. I think we could do something like that in Tennessee as well. It's not just law enforcement that's going to be fleeing New York. It's pretty much everybody. In fact, Fox News ran a report the other day, wealthy New Yorkers fleeing to, well, you guessed it, Florida.
It sounds like it is. Good afternoon, Sandra. Realtors in this exclusive area say there's a new sense of urgency for wealthy New York buyers. These are families, empty nesters, looking to buy a home like this and gain residency. So some New Yorkers are taking a closer look at Florida's no state income tax, especially as a potential tax hike looms. Raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers has been one of Mamdani's key campaign promises. Luxury real estate agent Johnny Del Preti says this is a main concern.
High net worth people, you know, they're paying those taxes, so they really want to know what are they getting for what they're paying. There definitely has been more traffic, more flow through here in regards to showings.
And it's not just the realtors seeing the shift. Local officials say they're feeling it too. The mayor of Boca Raton says the Mamdani effect is real, and he's been fielding calls from worried New Yorkers. In June, the city launched a NewYorkToBoca.com, which has seen thousands of views, also igniting a billboard in Times Square.
We're getting people concerned about the potential of 17% tax rate just in city-state alone, potential of higher crime with comments about defunding police. Boca Raton is a stark contrast. the lowest property tax rate of any full-service city in Florida.
And Sandra, this home behind me is listed for $73 million. Although that price tag may seem high, realtors say this is on par for the competitive market down.
$74 million. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I wish I had that kind of money. I wouldn't flee Tennessee, though. I'd just get some land and some chickens and some goats. And I'd probably get a little bit more outlandish on the radio. Full disclosure. I say all the time to my wife, you think I'm bad now, wait until the boys are fighting age. So then the gloves are off. So this is what you're seeing. They're going to elect a Democrat socialist in New York City for mayor. And everybody knows that this is a bad idea. They're trying to sound the alarm. But nobody seems to do anything about it. And you probably could end his mayoral campaign today if you're the DOJ, if you go after him for these illegal campaign donations from foreigners. But they probably won't. At the end of the day, this could be a good thing for Republicans. You guys preach, socialism hasn't been done the right way. Communism hasn't been done right. The next time is going to be the best time. Okay, let's see. I don't want New York to be ruined and destroyed, but that seems to be the current course that they're on. Right now in the country, 70% of voters think the Democrat Party is out of touch. No kidding. This is a wild poll. Do you think you're going to win an election if you're a Democrat and 70% of the country thinks you're out of touch? Maybe if you're in one of the parts, that's the 30%. But the percentage, this is from the New York Post, the percentage of Americans who believe the Democrat Party is out of touch has increased by double digits over the last decade, with 70% indicating the party is disconnected from the issues that matter to voters. The Democrat Party is perceived as being overly focused on protecting the rights of undocumented immigrants, illegal aliens, and protecting the rights of the Rainbow Mafia Americans, alienating voters who care more about secure borders and crime reduction, a survey released Monday by Welcome, a center-left group found. When they say center-left, it means raging left. To win elections, Democrats need to make the following changes. First, they need to focus more on the issues voters do not think we prioritize enough: the economy, the cost of living, healthcare, the border, security, public safety. Focus less on the issues voters think we prioritize too highly: climate change, democracy, abortion, identity, and cultural issues. Read the conclusion of Welcome's Deciding to Win survey. So you guys are just going to start listening to voters again? Just crazy enough to maybe work. Maybe. I don't know. Second, we need to moderate our positions on issues where our agenda is unpopular, including immigration, public safety, energy production, and some identity and cultural issues, the group noted. In 2013, 51% of voters viewed the Democrat Party as out of touch. That number is now 70% in 2025. Meanwhile, the Republican Party improved, going from 70% viewing it as out of touch in 2013 to 65% in 2025. Welcome also highlighted the polling showing only 39% of voters say the Democrat Party has the right priorities, while 59% of voters say Democrats do not. Best of luck to you in the midterms, unless you change course radically. It's 10:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. I found myself yesterday just walking around the house, humming the Busy Bee jingle. And then my wife saw me. She said, "Are you humming what I think you're humming?" I said, "I am." "Do you know it's spooky season?" She said, "Are you going to do this commercial too?" I said, I might. The savings are spooky good. And when you call them, they won't ghost you. And she said, "Stop." I said, "Okay, all right, I'll stop." And I did. I stopped. But let me finish for you. Right now, they got some real treats over at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you need HVAC service, schedule your fall maintenance. You get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's a $229 value. Plumbing issues, any repair that you schedule, they're also going to flush your water heater. Your pipes are going to thank you. If you're thinking about installing a new HVAC system, they got a scary good deal. Free 10-year parts, 5-year labor warranty. That's a $750 value with any system install. And if you make the kids carve a pumpkin to buzz the bee, You put it on social media, you tag Busy Bee, boom, you get a free Beehive Club membership. You're not going to beat any of these deals anywhere else. Don't let the home headaches haunt you. Call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. BusyBeeHVAC.com. Remember last week with the Tylenol stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Britain, they came out and they said, don't listen to anything Trump says. You remember that?
Don't listen.
Don't listen to the orange man. Tylenol's totally safe. And then we were like, well, should we listen to Tylenol? Because they said don't take it while pregnant.
Yeah, they said
Remember
that a while ago, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I've come to a new conclusion. We don't need to listen to anything the British government says, which leads me to this headline. First cousin marriage has benefits, says NHS guidance, despite birth defect risk. First cousin marriage is linked to stronger extended family support systems and economic advantages. So it's a strong family. Now, it's important to point out the real reason that they're doing this is because they've been culturally invaded by Muslims. I know. Listen, it's uncomfortable. People don't want to talk about it, but we'll talk about it. Diversity is our strength. Yikes.
Hey everybody, the best way to remember Charlie Kirk is to share his message. Flood the feeds, go find his videos, post them, share them, because Charlie's message was incredibly important and it's even more important now. Share the words of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to start. Here's mine. You, go.
Are you a Christian by any chance?
Very, very much so.
Like, why is that exactly?
Jesus saved my life. I'm a sinner, gave my life to Christ, most important decision I ever made.
So you believe the Bible is real?
Yes, I believe the Bible is true and real. Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I could give you the technical answer. There's never been an archaeological discovery that has contradicted the truth of the Bible. And then, of course, the wisdom. There is not a truth of the Bible that if you apply to your life does not improve dramatically. And then finally, we have the most accurate and transparent, historically robust account that one can have of the most important figure ever to live in the history of the world, Jesus of Nazareth. And the resurrection is the pinpoint of my belief that Jesus did rise from the grave so that we may live.
What makes Christian mythology real?
So that's not mythology, but that is theology. If Genesis 1:1 and the resurrection is true, anything in the Bible is possible. You're looking at the greatest miracle. The greatest miracle is creation. And then the fact that Jesus rose from the dead. And I say, how do you know that Jesus rose from the dead? Well, show me another historical piece of a story where so many people willingly died a brutal death for a lie. Every single person around him had everything to lose, and yet they went to the absolute death, from Paul to Peter to the half-brother of James, saying that Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the dead. Not to mention, if you were going to fake a story, you would not use female witnesses in the ancient world. In the scriptures, it said that the women were the first one to see Jesus Christ. If you're trying to fake a story, you would never do that. Not to mention the 500 people that saw Jesus after he rose from the dead, and then the later church that lived under persecution under the belief that Jesus Christ was the Son of God.
It's 10:59, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The polling just gets worse and worse and worse for the Democrats. It's almost like we could sniff it out before it even happened. I told you that the government shutdown is going to be blamed on the Democrats. They're losing the battle when it comes to illegal immigration. And we just see it time and time again. We talked about a poll earlier. 70% of voters think the Democrats are out of touch. I got more polling about a majority of Americans supporting these mass deportation efforts, and CNN even admitting with their own polling that Republicans are actually winning when it comes to the government shutdown.
If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown.
Is that a good thing? Does that mean the American people know what time it is? We'll dive more into these poll numbers from CNN. We'll dive more into the poll numbers on mass deportations and more. Plus, enforcement rates ratcheting up. We got some stories out of Houston, and Tom Homan on Fox News, bit red in the face when he's asked about what's going on in Chicago. All that and more on the way. It's 11 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got rain falling, roads and interstates are wet, but right now I'm only seeing one crash. It's got the right shoulder blocked 40 eastbound before Old Hickory Boulevard West there in Bellevue. In Lebanon, got South Hartman Drive northbound at Batter Parkway blocked due to a crash. And right now in Nashville, a 25-year-old woman's facing serious charges after allegedly threatening to blow up Lipscomb University. Police say Carissa Hamlet made the threat in a Facebook post, angry over how the school handled a student-led tribute to conservative Charlie Kirk after his murder. It all started when 17 students wore red ties to honor Kirk. Administrators said the ties violated the school's uniform policy. Principal Jesse Savage reportedly told the boys to remove them and was later reassigned to a new role as director of academics. Well, that decision sparked some backlash. Some teachers protested by wearing black or skipping class. In a message to parents, Lipscomb admitted it could have handled the situation better, saying a conversation to understand emotions would have been more helpful. The school also then condemned the assassination of Charlie Kirk, calling it a national tragedy. Speaking of tragedies, big storm, Hurricane Melissa. Here's ABC's Ike Jaichi in Kingston, Jamaica.
Hurricane Melissa making landfall in Cuba. After lashing into Jamaica, the Prime Minister declaring the entire island a disaster area. One of the most powerful on record to make landfall in the entire Atlantic Basin. Winds up to 185 miles per hour, destroying homes and schools. Urgent search and rescue operations underway after the monster storm unleashing torrents of floodwaters and life-threatening surge.
And if you're keeping count, it's day 29 of the federal government shutdown.
As the shutdown enters its fifth week and the pain builds for those who depend on government paychecks or assistance, the House Speaker says he no longer feels a deal can be reached with Democratic leaders in Congress.
I think Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are irredeemable at this point. I don't think they'll be able to tell Mondami in New York and his disciples that they voted to open the government.
Mike Johnson says he thinks the only way out of the shutdown now is to convince 5 moderate Senate Democrats to drop their objections and break the filibuster of a House-passed bill that would restore agency funding, but only through November 21st. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeart, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV. YouTube and Rumble are the big ones. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with your friends. We did an interview with Danielle Chaffin. Was it last week that Danielle was on?
Yeah, it was last week.
She's a trucking expert. Generations of logistics work in her family, and video's been doing gangbusters. Where if you missed that interview, it's up on the YouTube page. We post a lot of videos on the YouTube page. This afternoon, we're going to be posting that long conversation that we had with Jeff Younger about the custody battle that he had with his wife because she wanted to trans his son.
Heart-wrenching.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how that guy continues on. Only through faith.
Absolutely.
But that interview is going to get posted later on today. We do this quite a bit. It's an ever churning content machine. The YouTube channel is. So go hit like, hit subscribe, and join us over there. We do the show live on YouTube every day. One of the reasons that you want to watch the show is you get video elements for all the audio that you hear. I came across this video last night, and it's Harry Enton, who is the chief data analyst over at CNN. And Harry, his eyes are like bulging out of his head when he's reading these numbers. Everybody thought that the Republicans were going to be blamed for the shutdown. And by everybody, I mean leftists and the mainstream media and the pundits. But I don't think it's happening. I haven't thought it's happening. And I think that the further we get into this, the more angry people are going to be at Democrats. And now even CNN is saying, guys, the numbers show that.
It hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give, and electorally speaking, when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Don't bend the knee. By all means, don't bend the knee. You got Chuck Schumer out there saying that Donald Trump is dancing on the tarmac in Malaysia. He's not even focused on doing work. Mind you, on the Asia trip so far, he's netted about $1 trillion worth of investments coming into this country. He's doing nothing. And also, take solace. We wouldn't need Trump here to reopen the government. We just need some Democrats to stop being insane. That's it. And the American people see through it, as evident by the numbers that they're talking about on CNN.
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, changing the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
People don't believe the Democrats. They don't believe what they say. The numbers are displaying that. 70% of American voters think the Democrats are out of touch. During this government shutdown, independents and Republicans are supporting their party even more. I don't think the same can be said about the left. You got one of the biggest unions coming out, the American Federation of Government Employees. Lefties that support and back lefties, saying, guys, it's time to just pass the clean CR. Please just pass the clean CR. I don't want to interrupt the Democrats while they're making a mistake, but at a certain point, they're going to wake up to the reality that they've miscalculated this gravely, and they're making a huge mistake. Let's go to Chris in Nashville on the government shutdown. What's up, Chris?
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing this morning?
I'm good, man. What's up?
I just had a quick call. I wanted to let you know this morning I picked up the phone and decided to call the Tennessee Democratic Committee and ask them why they won't even sign a continuing CR. I called them. I couldn't get through to anybody, so I just pushed a random extension 103, and some lady picked up, and I was very polite. I said, "Good morning, how are you? I just have a quick question. I'd like to know why the Democrats won't sign on to reopen the government." And she started with playing very coy that she didn't know what I was talking about. She didn't know anything about it. I had to call somebody else, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, are you guys not over the Democratic House Representatives? And then she goes into, well, I guess I did read something about that, and, kind of this and that. And I said, we'd like you to just pass a clean CR so we can get government back open. And she says, well, wait a minute, aren't the Republicans in charge of the House? They're the ones keeping the government closed. I said, no, we need 60 votes, so we need at least 5 Democrats to come along. And then she proceeds to tell me, well, the Democrats aren't going to sign this because they don't want the country to go to, and she used an explicit word, and hung up on me. And this was the Tennessee Democrat National Committee who basically cussed me out on the phone for even calling her.
How dare you? Listen, at the end of the day, and I appreciate the call, Chris, we are blessed that we have 2 Republican senators in Tennessee, and we don't have to deal with a Democrat not stepping up. John Thune was talking about this yesterday. He says, really what's holding them back is Democrat leadership. Really what's holding them back is Chuck Schumer's fear of being primaried by AOC, Hakeem Jeffries' fear of being primaried, the rabid leftist base not looking at them as fighters. But they're losing. They know they're losing. John Thune said that even in back rooms, he's having conversations with Democrat senators who are willing to come over and vote, but Chuck Schumer keeps getting in the way. This is John Thune yesterday.
You are near a roll point here.
Well, I think there are people who are sincerely want to get this figured out.
Have they
on the
told
Democrat
you that?
side.
That they're ready? They're about ready?
There are, and of course the challenge is the Democrat leadership could care less about this, and Chuck Schumer, they're in a box. I mean, like I said, they are running scared of the far left in this country right now, and that characterizes a whole bunch of Senate Democrats too. But there are some rank and file Democrats, I believe, and we have had, as you said, back channel conversations that have been going on for some time that have intensified here of late, and hopefully that will lead to a breakthrough. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take rank and file Democrats who organically come to the conclusion that this doesn't make sense for them, politically long term for them either. I don't think this is a winning issue when you shut the government down.
No, it's not. And I mean, the poll numbers from CNN, they showed that as well. It's not a winning issue at all. But how many winning issues have the Democrats been on the right side of? Every 80-20 issue they keep failing on. I got a couple calls I want to run through. Let's go to Steven on the road, who has some thoughts on Mamdani. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Chris. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, I'm just, I can't believe this guy. Something don't seem right to have this guy, Zoran Mamdani or whatever his name is, running like New York City. Like, I can't figure that out. Like, for this guy, he looks like somebody that would be managing an Aldi's or something at best.
I don't even know if he has. I don't even know if he has the actual resume for that. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where did he come from? And I mean, who is he? And why is he even running for the candidate to be the mayor of New York City? We're talking about the greatest city in the world, right? We're not talking about some little mayor of some town with 200 people in it. We're talking about New York City. Like, how does he even qualify for that? I don't understand it. But
yeah, it feels like to me like he was built in some sort of leftist focus group. And I appreciate the call. I don't get it. I made the comment earlier. There was a debate between him and Cuomo and Siwa. It's the craziest race. Siwa is the only one that actually really cares about New York. Personally, that's my opinion. Cuomo doesn't care. He's still a better option than Zoran, which is saying something because, he gets a little handsy from time to time because he's Italian and he has no problem sending your grandmother off to die in a nursing home. That aside, he's still the better choice, which is bananas. But Zoran had said to Cuomo that he should be disqualified from running for mayor in New York City because he's never visited a mosque. And I made the comment a couple weeks ago, imagine telling a first responder that on September 12th, 2001, that in the year 2025, a Democrat candidate for mayor of this city will be saying another candidate is disqualified because they haven't visited a mosque. I just wonder what that first responder might say. Brian in Lebanon, you're next on Super Talk. What do you got, Brian?
What's up, bro? Hey, well, first off, I want to say that I'm kind of surprised at your disappointment that Republicans do the right thing and Democrats always surround their bad guys and Republicans kick them out of the party. Or
but my thing is that we see it so often, and I'm just tired of playing by their rules. Like when the Young Republicans group chat leaked. And then the Young Republicans comes, we just abhor this kind of speech, and we disavow it, and we're firing these guys, and we're so good. And it's like you don't win anybody over with these apologies. You don't win they're not going to automatically just stop thinking that we're Nazis. They're not going to automatically stop sending us death threats. Like none of that is going to change. You just look weak by apologizing. And yeah, like Santos, I'm not here to defend his character. But yeah, we could have used him on a couple votes, could we not?
Sure, but I like it that we kick out bad guys if they make a mistake. I believe in giving a little grace, but at the same time, I want to disassociate myself with bad people. Right and wrong is what I'm on. You know, what really blows my mind, and I've said this forever, is that Democrats would claim to be Democrats. I mean, how moronic is it to say that I'm for abortion? When they're living, their parents didn't choose abortion. How about that? How about, I heard a joke during this last election cycle where people were saying, if you believe in late-term abortion, how about we take you out? Let's ask some common sense questions like you normally do. But I was just a little bit wondering, me and you see eye to eye, bro. I won't go to the front of the line with you or Matt Murphy because I agree too much with you. But at the same time, I was a little bit thinking, why is he saying that? Because the Democrats are wrong. They pick wrong. I'm not a Republican. I'm a libertarian with a small L, just like Matt, and probably you. I want right when it's right and wrong. I want to pick right. So
yeah, no, and I get where you're coming from. I really do. But at the end of the day, I just want to win by any means necessary at this point because we understand that that's the game that the left is playing at the exact same time. But we know that that's how they roll. So I'm not about to just cut people off for saying the wrong thing or having a charge levied against them. Let's wait. Let's see the legal process play out. That's what the Democrats do. Why can't we do the same thing? No. We got to kick them out right away. We have to. It just seems off. They don't play by those rules. I want to win, and I think so often we get in our own way because we have to be the best of the best of the best. It's like, okay, we want to save the country, right? So can we focus on that? Let the legal process play out in the background. The Young Republicans one really just irritated me, though. You have people still openly mocking Charlie Kirk's death. I saw just viral videos of people wearing Halloween costumes where they're wearing Charlie's Freedom shirt and then they got a bullet hole in the neck and blood all over their shoulder. And I'm just like, okay. Nobody has to disavow these young people, but we have to disavow young Republicans because they're making jokes in a group chat. That's bovine scatology, if you ask me. It just is. But the American people are waking up, and we're seeing it in the poll numbers. The left is out of touch. The government shutdown is hurting the Democrats. We should be celebrating these wins. We should. There's a lot of wins to celebrate. Americans want illegals out. Even if they haven't committed another crime. This is another set of polling data that we've gotten. We also have Republicans demanding probes of the licensing mills, and another narco vessel has been struck. They were just fishermen, they say. Fishermen with a lot of cocaine. We'll talk about that and more on the way. 11:21, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. Just got the call. It's too rainy outside. Baseball's canceled. I'm sad. You know who this really hurts? My friends at Zero Res. Because the boys were guaranteed going to track in mud tonight. And that would have been $45 in Zero Res's pocket, because right now, any room in your house can be cleaned for $45. Zero Res uses their exclusive ZR water. No soap, no harsh chemicals, no residue, which means the carpets and the upholstery don't just look insanely clean, they stay clean longer. So that way the kids can roll around on the floor, the dogs can roll around. We don't have to worry about what's in the fiber. It's not just carpets, they do everything. Air ducts, tile, rugs, upholstery, the works. This is perfect for your back-to-school season, for your baseball season, when you're just trying to clean up the house because the kids don't follow instructions. Call them today. $45, any room. Zero Res is going to take care of you. 615-535-9376. 615-535-9376, or book online, ZeroResNashville.com.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Lipscomb Academy facing threats over how it handled a student-led tribute to Charlie Kirk. We'll tell you about it at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. Half of all Americans back President Trump's deportation policies and say that all illegal aliens should be kicked out of the country, whether or not they've committed additional crimes. Keyword additional, because sneaking into the country is, in fact, a crime, no matter how much Don Lemon wants it not to be. This is according to a new poll exclusively shared with the New York Post. More than two-thirds, 69% of respondents to the survey by D.C.-based firm JL Partners, including 58% of Democrats, want illegal aliens who have broken other laws removed from the U.S. Just 13% said they opposed the deportation of criminal migrants, and 27% said they opposed the removal of everyone in the U.S. illegally, compared to 50% who said they supported the drastic move. An overwhelming number of Americans want the illegal aliens gone. And I would just point out to those Democrats who say, well, they didn't commit any other crime. It's like, you know who would fix this? Your Democrat governors and mayors. If they allowed ICE into the jails, they would only be getting people that were committing other crimes. They don't, though. They don't. This is why we're having to pick up abuelas on the street. Your abuela can get it too. It's just the facts. We got a lot of messes to clean up. The border's secure, but we have hundreds of thousands, millions of illegal aliens running around this country. And some of them are even getting behind the wheels of trucks. Thanks to the great state of California, Republicans are now demanding a probe of trucker licensing mills. You've heard of puppy mills? Trucker licensing mills. After deadly crashes involving illegal alien drivers. A pair of Republican lawmakers urged Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy Tuesday to investigate programs that churn out CDL licenses following a pair of fatal crashes involving illegal alien operators. Duffy took the first steps last month to crack down on CDL distribution to foreign drivers, but Senator Tom Cotton out of Arkansas and Andy Barr out of Kentucky warned in a letter to the secretary that there are other abuses plaguing so-called CDL mills, saying CDL mills are substandard training programs that offer quick credentials, and recent incidents and reports indicate that these mills are prioritizing volume over proper safety and training requirements. We had a long conversation that you should check out on our YouTube page with Danielle Chaffin, third-generation trucking expert, logistics expert. She says that some of these training schools, they're turning out a truck driver in as little as 2 weeks. And they can't speak the language. They can't read the road signs. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't feel comfortable driving an 18-wheeler after 2 weeks of training. Would you feel comfortable? If you've never driven an 18-wheeler, would you feel comfortable getting behind the wheel of that after 2 weeks of training? I think that is way, way low. 6 months, maybe? 6 months? Is that too much? I don't know. Truckers weigh in. I'm obviously not a trucker. Anecdotally, number one show for truckers, but I'm not a trucker. But 2 weeks feels just ridiculously low. And they say these operations offer rushed, test-focused courses with little to no hands-on experience, leaving new entrants ill-equipped to handle the real-world demands of interstate trucking. This probe should rigorously assess whether CDL training programs are upholding ELDT, entry-level driver training standards, particularly with behind-the-wheel training, pre-trip inspections, and on-the-road proficiency. This letter comes days after Cotton and Barr rolled out the Secure Commercial Driver Licensing Act of 2025 to prevent illegal immigrants from obtaining CDLs. I'm going to try and get Danielle back in here next week. I feel like it's a conversation that we could spend an entire show on because it is so underreported and so needed to have a light shown on it. So I'll connect with Danielle and see if we can get her in here early next week. In the meantime, if you missed that interview with Danielle, the whole thing is up on our YouTube page. Just search for Super Talk 99.7.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, a woman is in custody for allegedly making threats online against Lipscomb University and Academy. Here's Channel 4's Holly Thompson.
Metro Police saying 25-year-old Carissa Hamlet stated, "I'll go blow Lipscomb up right now," in a comment made on Facebook. Now, this was under an article on the school's handling of a Charlie Kirk memorial in protest. The comment was sent to Lipscomb's director of security. Hamlet's charged with threatening mass violence against a school and false reporting. Lipscomb has clarified she has no affiliation with the school.
Over at the state capitol, Smyrna, Republican State Rep Mike Sparks leading the effort to lower minimum school bus driver age from 25 to 21 to address the shortage of drivers.
Still gives the county local control to keep it at 25 if they so do. You know, that's a great question. I've had that question from Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Rick Hall, and others, but I don't understand how law enforcement can drive a car up to 100 mile an hour at 21 or a 12,000-pound fire truck at 21 or 22, but then you can't drive a school bus.
Oh, so this standard was put in place following a tragic 2016 school bus crash in Chattanooga that killed 6 students, and the driver in that crash was 24 years old. Hurricane Melissa has weakened to a Cat 2 storm after slamming Jamaica and eastern Cuba with devastating winds and flooding. Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Jamaica's education minister, telling reporters today most of the island is without power.
In terms of electricity, 77% of the country is without electricity. There is work that's going to be done to bring that up as quickly as we can, but that is a large number.
Storm now moving toward the Bahamas, expected to pass near Bermuda tomorrow with hurricane warnings in effect. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Why am I so happy and so excited that Jimmy Kimmel lied to his audience?
He had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
I'm excited because the liberal and the legacy media have been lying about Republicans for years, and people like this are finally taking notice.
I didn't think much of the death because from what I had heard, Charlie Kirk had been a neo-Nazi who wanted me to be dead. He didn't support my existence and whatnot. And now I'm kind of sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I feel like I had been lied to. I really took some time after the, thing happened to kind of look into his videos, look into his beliefs, look into his thoughts and who he was as a person. And to me, he seemed like a well-mannered family man. He believed in the country. He believed in the greater good of the country. He had his own political beliefs and opinions. And sure, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with him on, but I never would stand for him dying or being murdered because of his beliefs. And I think I may be starting to lean a lot farther right in response to everything that's taken place.
It's 11:36. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Ann. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We were talking a second ago about truckers and the GOP reps that are pushing for a probe. They want to illegally probe those truckers. Wait, no. They want to probe the illegal truckers. That's...
Yeah, you got to get that right.
Words matter. Words matter. Nobody's getting probed.
Yeah, you are notorious for your word slip-ups or...
Nope,
oh, wait, no,
as far as I know.
That could be quite invasive.
As far as I know, there will be no illegal probing. It'll all be done by the book with lube.
Good.
So there's that. Eddie in Lynchburg wanted to talk about trucker courses because I made the comment that some of these trucker courses are only going for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Is that enough time, Eddie? Are you a trucker?
30 years, Chris, and anecdotally, you are the #1 radio station for this truck driver.
Let's go.
And I've been driving for 30 years. I only know about one instance, but I had a young man about a year ago, 27, 28-year-old. He had been to truck driving school right south of Decatur, Alabama for 3 weeks. And some of the things he were telling me, I got to asking questions about his instructor. Well, his instructor, according to him, had only been in this country for 2 years and was from Somalia. So my point is, not only are they letting them drive, they're letting them train other people, and they don't have the experience to teach. But nobody can learn to drive one of these things in 3 weeks. It's just not everything you need to know.
Yeah, and I'm not even a trucker, but saying 2 weeks, I was like, that seems criminally short. But hey, I appreciate your expertise, Eddie, and I appreciate you listening, man. Thanks so much.
Have a good day, Chris.
You too, brother. Eddie in Lynchburg. Eddie sounded legit.
Oh, absolutely.
I would trust Eddie with all things trucking. He doesn't sound like he's playing any games.
No, absolutely not.
Shout out to Eddie.
I would definitely not try to probe him.
No.
Not a good call.
That would not end well. I can guarantee that. I don't even know Eddie, but oh yeah, that's not going to end right.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't be listening to the show after that.
No.
Cool.
Anecdotally, that's not a guy you'd be able to probe.
No, sir.
All right, 11:39. You know what time it is. Lightning round. Lightning round.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
You know what we call that in the industry when the producer takes a second to hit the button a little bit too long?
What's that?
We say loose. That was loose.
I forgot about that.
Listen.
It's the lightning round. There you go. That was tight.
Yeah, I'm working on it. My mouse jumped, though.
I'm sure. I'm
we
sure.
had a little glitch on the hotkeys.
Okay. We do this every day this time. We bring you all the stories that wouldn't fill a segment, all the stories we didn't have a chance to get to. It seems like in this Trump administration, I'm still waiting for the slow news cycle. We had Josh in here yesterday. He's the senior director for Turning Point USA.
Yeah.
And he had one of his buddies with him, and he's like, "Yo, you ever struggle to find things to talk about?" I said, "I did one time. It's about 2 years ago, and there was a missing submarine." I said, "Since then, I don't think we've had a slow news week at all."
No, not at all.
At all. And all the guys that have been doing this a lot longer than I have come to the field with a lot more expertise and a lot more knowledge than I do. But they'll be like, "We've never seen anything like it." I'm like, "This is the only thing I've seen." It's insane. All right, so where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, lightning round. Is Scott Jennings going to CBS?
Oh.
Barry Weiss is looking to poach pro-Trump CNN pundit Scott Jennings for CBS News. This would be an excellent move for CBS. And I often wonder, like, why don't any news stations just become like the more conservative news? I feel like they would fly to number one. ABC, CBS, NBC, any of them could do this. Locally, they could do it here locally too. It seems like we have so many news stations and all of them lean left. If any of them even leaned a little bit to the right, they would instantly go to number one. Maybe they don't like making money. I don't understand what the thought process is. CBS is apparently going to switch things up. CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss is reportedly keen on poaching conservative commentator Scott Jennings from CNN. This story is from the New York Post. The two met at the Tiffany Network's New York headquarters last week, according to the news site Semaphore. The new CBS News boss reported overture to Jennings comes during a time of flux at the network. The Post reported on Monday that John Dickerson, co-anchor of the CBS Evening News, is leaving the network at the end of the year. Dickerson, who will continue to co-anchor the nightly newscast with Maurice DuBois until his departure, is set to exit as the entire news division at CBS braces for a round of painful job cuts. Enter Scott Jennings, a former George W. Bush administration staffer, as well as an ex-aide to Senator Mitch McConnell. He has gained cult status among conservatives for his feisty pro-Trump democracy and advocacy on CNN, which employs him as a contributor. Given that Jennings is not a full-time employee at the network, he's free to meet with anyone, according to a source with knowledge of the situation. I would absolutely watch CBS News if Scott Jennings was the anchor. I don't know anybody that wouldn't. Well, actually, I take that back. Lawrence O'Donnell from MSNBC would not watch. He was in a tizzy the other night hearing that Scott Jennings is being considered for this CBS News job, and he was even more upset that he found out CNN pays him for his opinions. Yeah, he's a contributor. He is a paid contributor by CNN. Lawrence O'Donnell on MSNBC was beside himself.
And now CNN eagerly pays a Trump supporter to lie on CNN every day and night for Donald Trump. CNN did this during the first Trump presidential campaign and presidency. CNN regularly paid Trump supporters to lie about Trump on CNN, but the CNN regime then realized that was a mistake. And they stopped doing it. They stopped paying for lies. But then CNN got a new head. The head of CNN for the last 3 years, hired by the Trump-supporting owner and operator of CNN, is an Englishman who thinks
English.
Paying Scott Jennings to lie about Donald Trump is money very well spent.
One of the things that you'll notice from this tirade from Lawrence O'Donnell is no lies being used as examples. He didn't bring any lies to the table. That's interesting. Scott Jennings responded to this, by the way, on Twitter. He quote tweeted this post from Western Lensman that highlighted this Lawrence O'Donnell report. And he said, "No, Lawrence, I don't have time to save your show." I'm here for it. Maybe he saves CBS. Maybe he doesn't. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. We found somebody that could replace Scott Jennings at CNN. I know.
What?
I know. It happened quick. Do you know who it is?
Who is it?
Stephen Miller's wife.
Oh.
Stephen Miller's wife was on CNN yesterday, Katie Miller, and she was on with Jake Tapper. And just watching her make Jake Tapper uncomfortable, I would love to see her on that Abby Phillips show, because this is how it went down, right? They're on this segment, and they're talking about Karine Jean-Pierre. Obviously, the most talented black lesbian press secretary that we have ever had in the history of this country. Could you agree?
Obviously.
Do you agree?
Obviously.
Everybody agrees.
Obviously.
There's nobody better.
Obviously.
Show me a better black lesbian press secretary that we've ever had.
Obviously.
I'll call you a liar.
Obviously.
So they're talking about her. And Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, says she's only relevant because she's been promoted as a black, queer, LGBTQ woman, which is factual, which made Jake Tapper just scramble, shake in his seat, and end the segment immediately. This is how it sounded on CNN as Katie Miller, host of the Katie Miller podcast, wife of Stephen Miller, was explaining to everybody Karine Jean-Pierre's qualifications.
What I think you're seeing and what Karen is attesting to is that she is quite incompetent to do the job, right? This is what Republicans have been saying for years now, is that she is just another evidence that DEI doesn't work, whether that's in the White House in your press secretary role, or whether that's an air traffic controller, an air pilot, whether that's your doctor. You want to hire the best for the role, not just based on skin color. Jake, why did she get the job over John Kirby?
Well, why are we assuming that she, as a black LGBT, gay woman, is DEI, but a white woman who is behind the podium right now, which DEI initially started as affirmative action, which was about affirmatively hiring women and minorities? Why is one DEI and the other is not?
Why did she get the job over John Kirby? Because as everyone has said this week, she is woefully incompetent.
She had the job long before John Kirby.
For the record, let the record show, there was mountains of reporting during the Karine Jean-Pierre tenure, right? That they wanted to replace her with John Kirby, but they couldn't because they couldn't fire the first black gay White House press secretary. That was reported all over the place. Now, the leftist on the panel with Jake Tapper says, well, how is Caroline Leavitt not a DEI hire? And I would just say, have you watched her press conferences? She does the job really well. She proves every day that she can do the job. That's kind of how you know. It's kind of how you know.
I will just say she used to be a commentator on CNN, then she was one on MSNBC, and she was good at that. Like, I mean, I'm without getting into the job I thought she did as press secretary. I thought it didn't seem crazy to me because she was eloquent as a commentator.
Here comes the part where Jake Tapper has to scramble and end the segment early.
Why is she trained every 4 sentences to say she is a black, queer, LGBTQ woman? Because that's how she's been promoted her entire career.
Anyway, Katie Miller and Karen Finney, thank you so much. Why is the Pentagon taking issue with the top?
Anyway, we got to go to break. Why does she have to say every 4 sentences that she is a black, queer woman? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. In the lightning round.
Sorry, I almost said obviously.
Thank you.
Obviously.
This headline is it reads like this. Sex warfare. Sex warfare. China, Russia, sending beautiful women to seduce tech lords and steal their secrets. I don't know how many times I got to tell these guys, no pillow talking in Silicon Valley. They don't like you, bro. They don't.
Nope.
Oh.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
This seems to me to be obvious, right? Like,
absolutely.
This should be obvious to any tech overlord or any of these guys, even like the underlings. Like, they should know. Like, that 10 isn't interested in you, bro. China and Russia have reportedly been sending attractive women to the United States to seduce Silicon Valley tech executives and steal their secrets. Breitbart has the story. Female spies from China and Russia are engaging in sex warfare in Silicon Valley, with some of the women even marrying and having children with their targets. That is dedication. Can we just talk about that for a second? How far are you willing to go to win?
Sounds like a weird convoluted Klondike bar commercial.
I'm like, honestly, that's like almost impressive. Almost. It's dark and gross at the exact same time. At times, even marrying and having children with their targets, an industry insider told the Times of London. It's the Wild Wild West out there. Jeff Stoff, the president of the nonprofit organization Center for Research and Security and Integrity, CRSI, and a former national security analyst for the U.S. federal government, told the local newspaper, China is targeting our startups, our academic institutions, our innovators, our DoD-funded research projects, he added, claiming there's not enough oversight and action. It's all intertwined as part of China's economic warfare strategy, and we've not even entered the battlefield. Foreign spies are also reportedly using social media, startup competitions, and venture capital investments as a means for infiltrating the U.S. tech industry. 5 counterintelligence experts told the Times of London that the Chinese Communist Party has been hosting startup competitions in the United States in an effort to steal sensitive business plans. One counterintelligence source said recently investigated a case involving a beautiful Russian woman who worked at a U.S.-based aerospace company where she met an American colleague whom she eventually married and had children with. Showing up, marrying a target, having kids with a target, and conducting a lifelong collection operation, it's very uncomfortable to think about, but it's so prevalent, the source said. If I wanted to be out of the shadows, I'd write a book on it. Earlier this year, the House Committee on Homeland Security warned that the CCP has carried out more than 60 cases of espionage in the United States over the past 4 years, with the counterintelligence source telling the Times of London that he fears the number is much higher. I'm sure it's much higher. I'm sure it is. Like, what do you do? I mean, how do you trust anything? Like, isn't that dark? Like, if you're in Silicon Valley, like now you got to worry if the girl you're dating is really into you or not. And then you'd be like, well, we got married. We had kids. She's super into me. You'd be like, not so fast, pal. Let's talk about the word dedication.
You can't handle the truth.
1152, Super Talk, 99.7, WTN.
Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the world.
They call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BNA hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BNA hole, where progress goes to upset liberals.
President Trump making news again. The headlines, Chris. Donald Trump revokes the Secret Service from Kamala Harris. Ooh.
The unspoken part of this story is the hundreds of thousands of dollars we're going to save in therapists and PTSD counseling for the Secret Service agents that had to be on that detail with Kamala Harris. You know, we've heard the horror stories of Joe Biden swimming naked around his Secret Service agents, but I wonder how many times they've had to pick up a drunken Kamala Harris off the floor of a Wawa because she's on a Doritos run with Dougie. We don't need to pay for that, and she can afford her own security. I don't think this is much of a story.
I will ask you this directly because a lot of people listen, they tune in, they tune out, and they perhaps have not heard this conversation in the past. But if you were called to something beyond what you're currently doing, I think you've made no bones about it that you would look toward public service in a future capacity in any way that you can serve the people of Tennessee?
Yes,
is that fair?
I would, absolutely. Yeah, I've had a remarkable life, man. I grew up on a farm in Missouri. My family didn't have a whole lot. And from there, I found something I was good at and traveled the world, entertained millions of people, provided my family with life I wouldn't have thought possible. I'm a product of the American dream, and I'm a big believer in what Ronald Reagan said, that freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction. So people like me who have benefited so much from what this country has to offer and the opportunities that we're given, we create for ourselves, I think that it's imperative that we make sure to pass that on to the next generation.
And if wrestling wasn't enough of a blood sport, you went from that to the ultimate blood sport.
Yeah, pretty much.
In politics.
Yeah. 11:58, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Joined in studio by a man who deserves his own theme music today. Are you ready? Can you just cut that music for a second? How long can I play it without getting in trouble for copyrights?
Mommy shark,
I feel like that's it.
Mommy shark, You cut it right when I did from the stream.
Did you? All right, perfect. Chad Benson is dressed up today as a shark.
That's right. Sharkapalooza. We're advocating for Shark Month.
I think sharks get a bad rap.
They get a very bad rap.
They just happen to have scary teeth.
And they have no thumbs.
No.
When you have no hands, sometimes you bite things. It's what happens, man.
It's also important to point out that sharks aren't out there like dolphins raping everybody and having the best PR team.
No, they're not. They're not. Yeah, because they had Flipper, right? Like Flipper, they had a show where it was all about the stupid dolphin, and he was doing great things, right? We don't have a show where they capture a shark like that and then make it be everybody's friend.
Yeah, there's no shows where the shark is solving crimes.
No, none of those things are happening, right? We just eat unsuspected tourists in places across the globe on accident because we don't have fingers.
It's true. I like the costume. What are you doing today? What are you talking about?
Sharks. It's just basically a whole day's about sharks. Who knows what you talk about?
I don't even remember. I kind of black out sometimes and I just go on tirades about how much I don't like the government.
Trucks.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anecdotally, I have the #1 show for truckers.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Congratulations.
Anecdotal evidence matters on this show.
It does.
It does.
We don't need... My data is 100% of the time it's right, 60% of the time it's only made up 100% of the time.
Perfect. Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
What are you up to?
Nothing. I got an afternoon.